Hey there, back again with another rant slash review. This is one that was actually requested, another film that was requested. People wanted to hear my thoughts on. I mentioned it in one of my other videos. I said I would only do a video about this if people actually wanted to hear my thoughts on it. And there were a decent amount of people that did. They requested it. So here you go. Here's the sisters rant you've been waiting for. Now, I saw this film months ago, so forgive me if my memory of this film is hazy. Now, I'm going to say this. I definitely would say I like this film more than Ride Along 2, but that's not saying much. That's like saying, oh, I liked having someone piss on me instead of taking a shit in my mouth. I know it's gross, it's disgusting, but that's a good comparison. Both are disgusting, shitty things that happen to you. Such as it's just the same thing having to watch these shitty comedies. I know it's graphic, but it fits. It really does. Um, but this one is a little bit more disappointing. Absolutely more disappointing because I didn't have any expectation for Ride Along 2. For Sisters, I had some expectations because I do think Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are good together. I think they are talented comedians. I do like a lot of their work that they've done on SNL. And I think I know they can definitely do better than this. This was very, very. I'm trying to think of the right word. Lazy is definitely one of them, and uninspired is one. It just there isn't a lot of energy, like genuine energy or care that's put into this film. It feels very rushed, and it doesn't even really feel like a film. It feels like a concept that was just let loose without any sort of supervision or editing or care or the kind of thing that you do when you look at something, you take a concept and you work on it and you hone it and you make sure that it's the best that it can be before you actually make the film and use that script. This definitely feels like that. It also feels like a movie that I don't even know if it even had a script. It feels like one giant long improv skit that just did not know when to end, and it just is an amazingly disastrous production. And it's really hard to sit through because of the fact that it's just this overlong skit. And then it's full of other skits that are too long and don't know when to end. And a lot of them are skits that aren't even that funny to begin with, and they just repeat the same joke ad nauseum until you literally just want to bash your brains in. Anyway, it's directed by Jason Moore. It's produced by Tina Fey and Jay Roach. It's written by Paul Appel. I think Paul Appel, is that just a pseudonym for the combined efforts of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler? Because it just seemed like they just improv'd every single thing that they said in this entire film. Stars Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. You also have Maya Rudolph, Ike Barinholtz, who I didn't mind him in this. That's one of the few things about this film I didn't mind was Ike Barinholtz. Dianne Weist, yes, Dianne Weist is in this, pretty much slumming it as Deanna Ellis, who's Amy Poehler's mom. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey's character's mother. James Brolin is also in this, taking a paycheck as Bucky, their dad. John Cena, yes, John Cena is in this as some hard, thuggish drug dealer named Pazuzu. It's as stupid as it sounds. It really is. John Leguizamo's in this as some guy named Dave. I forgot what the fuck his role was, and I forgot what he had to do. He didn't have nothing to do. So you have a bunch of other cast members, even people from SNL, like Rachel Dratch. You have Samantha Bee, who is in The Daily Show. You have Kate McKinnon, who plays a character named Sam. Chris Parnell's in this. He was also in SNL. You have Bobby Moynihan, who was in SNL, who I thought he was like one of the few funny guys in this movie. He's not very funny in SNL, but he played this character who was kind of a complete loser with bad jokes when he's sober. When he gets high, he's hilarious. So, but he was one of the few bright spots for me when it comes to this movie. Pretty much, this film has two sisters, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler is this kind of stick up her ass type character who doesn't know when to have fun or whatever. And her sister, Tina Fey, Kate, is the complete opposite. She's a train wreck mother. She's all over the place. She's crazy. She hasn't learned how to grow up. So what happens is they find out that their parents are going to sell their childhood home. They don't like that idea. So, and this is something that's going on, this drama where Kate's been kicked out of her apartment. She's also dealing with drama with her daughter, of course, who's played by Madison Davenport. And so they travel to their childhood home, and there's supposed to this whole idea that Kate is thinking after they got kicked out of the apartment that she can live with their parents in their house, or and things don't work out too well because they find out that the house is going to get sold. The sisters are told the deal is done. There's nothing they could do about it. So they need to be out of the house by the end of the weekend with everything completely moved out. And of course, Kate brings along her sister, of course. Here's the thing with these two characters. They never feel like real characters to me, majority of the time. They just feel like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler just hanging out and just doing improv. Just doing a bunch of improv, which is fine in small doses, but not to the extended amount that we get in this movie. Not to the extended dosage you get in this film, which is pretty lethal, if you ask me. This film's 118 minutes, and it drags so much, and it definitely does feel like every bit of that 118 minutes. You feel every bit of that. It's painful. It hurts. It really does. You want to shut it off. But I watched this with my mom. I stuck through it for her, and she didn't even like it either. So that made me feel bad. I'm like, I got it so I could watch something with my mom and to do something for her, and she didn't even like it. So that hurt more than anything that this movie threw out there for me, to be honest. The fact that my mom didn't like it, and I picked it out specifically for her. Anyway, so they have to get out of this house. Of course, the house is being bought by these typical snooty rich people, or a bunch of, snooty rich types, rich stereotypes. And so Tina Fey's character, she's not likable. She's a train wreck. She's a bad mother. She's an alcoholic. She's just a bad person, period. And I don't find her likable. She's not the likable train wreck. She's just an annoying train wreck. This is one of the worst roles I've ever seen her in. Amy Poehler, of course, the whole thing is that the shoe gets put on the other foot later when they decide to have one last party. And this party is literally almost the entire running time of the film. It's just one long, overlong party that is only marginally funny. This is a concept that should, at best, be the plot for like a 30-minute sitcom, not an almost nearly 2-hour-long movie. So, of course, you have the typical stuff where they have to get ready for their party, and you have this really long, unfunny sequence where they're going to get their nails done, and there's some stupid shit where there's the manicurist or something, she's Asian, and so the way that she pronounces certain words, they can't understand it, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on for what feels like forever. And then you have the stuff with they trash their house, of course, during the party. They have bubbles and all kinds of craziness, drugs and debauchery. a typical fall through the attic floor gag. While I think it's trying to remember why is it Kate? Yeah, Maura. While Maura, played by Amy Poehler, is trying to have make out with Ike Barinholtz. I have to admit, those two had some decent chemistry. I didn't mind those two together, and there were moments where Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, they had these moments that generally did feel like a sisterly bond, that felt real, that felt human, but they were very few and far between. Most of it was just a bunch of overlong, unfunny improv gags. And so things get so crazy during the party. And of course, it started out where no one wants to party because they're all old and they have nothing to do but talk about how their families and their kids and how shitty their lives are. And so some drugs and alcohol get into the mix, and then things get really crazy. And the old people prove they can be just as crazy as they used to be. Can party just as hard and just as hardy. And there's this high school rival of theirs, played by Brenda, played by Maya Rudolph, who is trying to sneak into the party and keeps getting kicked out and keeps getting locked out, and it's just a bunch of who gives a shit. And then what happens is, well, stuff gets too crazy where the pool gets overfilled with water and it literally collapses and forms a sinkhole. And the house is a mess. It gets trashed, of course, because of the party. And during the whole sinkhole thing, Tina Fey's daughter gets stuck in there, and Tina Fey has to do one heroic moment and save her daughter and prove to her that she's not a total fuck up. And then the movie ends predictably, where the sisters, all the partygoers are gone. Everything's all been worked out. They even work out their relationship with Brenda, and then they have the whole thing where they need to clean up the house. And there was this whole kind of thing where their parents basically say, "You need to clean this shit up." They say Mara offers to help pay for the damages to the house, so the parents will not have an issue with selling, but they refuse, as they believe that Mara needs to stop helping since she is often unhelpful. Kate tells her parents that she does not have a home and would like to live in the house. They refuse this as well, saying that she can stay for the next 10 days while she repairs the house. Kate enlists the help of James, Ike Barinholtz, to help repair the damage. Mara and Kate apologize to each other. Kate convinces Mara to try and connect with James. Kate fixes up the house. They are able to sell it with the help of Brenda. Kate opens a new nail salon in Orlando, and Mara and James have moved forward and are now in a relationship. The movie ends with Kate and Mara celebrating their first Christmas at their parents' new home with all of their happy family together. It's one big happy family. And that's Sisters. Yeah. There's a reason why I didn't really do a review or rant on it at first, because there's not much for me. I can't say that much about it, really. Maybe it's just not a film for me. It's not meant for my sense of humor, or it's not meant for a guy like me. I don't know, but there's a lot of jokes that were definitely more orientated to the female audience that I didn't relate to. There's other ones that just fell flat and just weren't funny to me. And the concept, it's just a bunch of people, just older people, deciding to have a party, a big party, like they're still teenagers in high school, and they fuck the place up, and some silliness ensues, and that's really about it. That's all there is to it. It also had a problem with being a bit too crass with its humor, which, to be honest, just didn't work for me. It didn't. That usually doesn't work for me with a comedy starring two male leads, let alone a comedy starring two female leads. It seemed like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were trying to be like, see, we could be just as crass as the guys are when we're talking about our genitals, but it just didn't register for me. It didn't make me laugh. But like anything, comedy is subjective. What one person finds funny, another person doesn't, and vice versa. So if you like this movie, thought it was funny, that's cool. To each their own. I didn't. For the most part, there's a couple of things that made me laugh, but I already forgot about them. I didn't mind Bobby Moynihan when he was high. I didn't mind Ike Barinholtz, and there were a couple moments with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler that made me chuckle. But other than that, it's pretty much a misfire for me. It's an overlong misfire that I have no desire of ever seeing again. So I don't know what to say about the film, except it was rated 5 stars. I give the movie 1.5 stars out of 5. I can't believe this movie made over $100 million. It cost $30 million to make. It barely even looked like that. And wow, over $100 million. So it definitely made a profit. That's what it seems like to be a lot of comedies nowadays. They're just lazy as all hell. So just sit on the toilet, shit out a turd, just put whatever name on it you want, and that's it. That's all they have to do. That's what it seems like to me. And these turds make money. It's shocking to me. The comedy genre has just become just like the horror genre for me lately. A lot of just cheap, low budget, uninspired piles of shit that just come out of Hollywood's ass one after another. But anyway, I don't know what to say about Sisters. It was a pretty shitty comedy that I definitely recommend you avoid. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. And as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.